They obviously didn't do the right job. These walls were just waving.
Florida homeowners vent their anger over what they feel is shoddy construction of their now hurricane-destroyed homes.
California's strained economy and tight budget produce a health care crisis in some counties. We'll tell the tale of 2 hard luck clinics.
This is Prime News Sunday with David French in Washington and Natalie Allen at CNN Center in Atlanta.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. 2 weeks ago tonight, all of South Florida was laying in wait for Hurricane Andrew. The morning after, only parts of the region felt its full fury. We've seen how Homestead and Florida City have been affected. Now CNN's Brian Jenkins tells us what life is like in Kendall, a suburb of Miami.
It may have been the working-class towns of Homestead and Florida City that stared into the eye of Hurricane Andrew, but more affluent areas to the north, like the suburb of Kendall, also felt the storm's full force. In a Kendall housing development called Country Walk, few homes were left in a livable condition. Half the roof popped off of Lucy Doyen's house.
Everything's a mess. Everything is devastating.
What wasn't blown away or ripped apart was left soaking wet.
We've tried washing things and the smell is still there. It doesn't go away.
Mrs. Doyen had just finished redecorating, and now she's not certain insurance will cover all her losses. She blames the destruction on shoddy construction.
They obviously didn't do the right job. These walls were just waving.
Most of the Doyens' neighbors are angry too, and there's a drive underway to sue the developer.
If they had only used a few more nails putting this house together, we would not have had this plight.
Frank Leone found more staples than nails sticking out of the plywood torn from roofs on his street. Leading engineers have said the South Florida Building Code would have prevented the massive damage seen in some Dade County neighborhoods had the rules been uniformly followed or enforced. State and federal prosecutors are now investigating whether some contractors here systematically violated the building code and then bribed inspectors to overlook the substandard work. Meanwhile, building officials have called for a ban on staples and pressed boards in repairing roofs here, and they're telling residents to hire their own inspectors if they can't wait for overwhelmed county teams to reach them.
I think because of the storm, contractors, homeowners, building officials, everybody's a lot more conscious of what needs to be done, and I think it'll be done.
This is what saved our lives. We were in this closet here.
Lucy Doyen isn't sure when she and her husband will be done rebuilding or if they'll even bother. She's just trying to move on emotionally.
Material things you can always replace, but lives, I'll tell you, that time there, I didn't think we were going to make it.
But she and her neighbors did make it, some with a sense of humor and all with a sense of awe. Brian Jenkins, CNN, Kendall, Florida.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency says it is doing everything humanly possible to help victims of Hurricane Andrew. It has taken more than 40,000 applications for aid. Amid reports that FEMA has been slow to process relief checks, officials said today that more than $3 million in aid checks had been written for more than 1,400 families. Military officials have tabled plans to build more tent cities. The 5 camps operating now are less than 1/3 full. They are providing 3 meals a day, a place to sleep, and get cleaned up. People who have volunteered to help with relief operations say life will be like this for some time to come.
Eventually, it will take about 2 or 3 years before things get to normal.
I'd say for at least another few months, it's going to be pretty rough. At least until the power gets on and people can get the stores back open and all that. Excuse me, then it might go ahead and change. But right now, it's going to be a while the way it's looking.
The community effort in the South Dade, in Miami, has just been incredible because for a long time, people just had walls up. You know, and fences have been blown down all over the place, and you get to know who your neighbors are, and all of a sudden, hey, they're human beings just like you are.
Members of the Miami Dolphins football team were on hand in Homestead to give away Dolphin memorabilia. Their home game against the New England Patriots was postponed because of the hurricane.
On this Labor Day Eve, a warning about the future of American jobs from White House Budget Director Richard Darman. Darman says more Americans may lose their jobs this month. He blames Hurricane Andrew, a strike by auto workers, and the end of a temporary jobs program for students. Meantime, there's more bad news for white-collar workers. A new study by the Economic Policy Institute says their wages are falling. Overall, white-collar salaries dropped nearly 4.5% between 1987 and 1991. For those with college degrees, earning power dropped about 3%. And low-income workers lost even more. Their wages plunged by almost 16% for men and nearly 7% for women.
Economic hard times in California made for a statewide budget crisis. Now that a budget has been passed, the sharp cuts are causing some bleeding in social services. As Cameron Sanders reports, the health of California's uninsured is on the line.
This is the Venice most tourists see, the one in the movies and on TV shows. But a few blocks inland, away from the beach and the rollerblades, there's a critical shortage of health care.
We're in the middle of both a measles epidemic as well as a tuberculosis epidemic. And a lot of this, I think, results from the cutbacks that we've had in public health.
The state budget deal, signed after more than 60 days of partisan acrimony, included sharp cuts in funding to counties. And that is forcing drastic cuts in local services. In Los Angeles County, 16 public health care clinics are on the block. This is one.
It bothers me and it saddens me that health is identified as something that can be expended.
There is one other public health facility nearby, a privately funded one, but no room.
We are seeing 50,000 patient visits a year at this clinic, which is 169 people a day. And unfortunately, we have to turn away another 60 a day because we just don't have the resources and the space to take care of more. The demand now with these proposed cuts will just grow tremendously.
Patients can go several miles away to another county clinic, but the cutbacks mean it will be even more crowded now, the lines even longer.
It's like you can stay there all day and probably not even get help.
And I don't know what we're going to do because many of the health facilities are going to be cut, dropped, closed. And so the ones that stay open are going to be inundated with people. And what are we going to do now?
Health officials worry what many will do is nothing. Faced with the prospect of all-day waits at public health clinics, many of the 3 million in Los Angeles County without health insurance may simply put off seeing a doctor until their medical problems are life-threatening.
I see them waiting until their illnesses have progressed, and I see them utilizing emergency rooms when they're really sick, which is bad for them because they have a worse outcome, and it's bad for everyone.
In the end, some argue, these cuts in preventative health care will not only cost lives in communities like Venice. The cuts may actually increase the cost to taxpayers as emergency rooms attempt to respond to an increase in life-threatening problems. Cameron Sanders for CNN, Los Angeles.
A tough day today for both presidential candidates when Prime News returns. Bill Clinton goes to the races and hears more than just loud engines. At 11 after, President Bush makes his pitch, but barely on the campaign trail. At 19 after, thousands pack New York streets in a celebration of their Latin heritage. And at 55 after, prisoners learning to grow within the confines of a city jail.
Vittorio! Ciao! You may not be aware that bubble Italian bread shell is made with fresh mozzarella and Parmesan cheeses, garlic and imported olive oil.
Oh, it fills my heart with joy to see you eat so well.
Mamma, when you have things like chicken and fresh vegetables.
More broccoli, Vittorio.
You have created your own magnificent pizza in just 8 minutes, huh? Crispy outside, soft inside.
Eat, mangia.
Remember, only you can top Boboli.
But don't eat so fast.
P.U. Nasty, rotten mildew stains. Try X14 Mildew Stain Remover. Compare 3 sprays of Tilex to just 1 of X14. In minutes, the X14 side is cleaner without scrubbing. Proof X14 is better.
Monday, I soak my dentures. Tuesday, I brush. Wednesday, I soak.
Wait, all you need is denture cream. Why soak when denture cream gets dentures nearly twice as clean, with more than twice as much mint? All you need is denture cream.
Every day.
Presenting the faucet. Funny thing about faucets, you might think they're all the same. until you look into a Price Vista faucet. Price Vista faucets are, in a word, fabulous. Since they have a heart of solid brass, the fact is they hold up better and longer. No fooling. Nice, too. They're affordable. So when you're faced with getting a faucet, get a Price Vista, the fabulous faucet with the funny name.
Whenever you pick up a little something, why not charge it on the Discover card and earn a cashback bonus? After all, money doesn't grow on trees. Oh. Or does it? It pays to Discover.
Monday, this is Uncle Sam's Lumber Yard, caught between politicians and preservationists. The fight over how national forests should be used. Timber or trees, a special Prime News series beginning 8 p.m. Eastern Monday.
Heavy damage, but no deaths following violent weather in parts of the Midwest. Tornadoes spun from the sky in western Oklahoma this weekend, damaging farms and destroying a grain elevator, but no injuries were reported. In Norman, winds peaked at 95 miles an hour, knocking out power. Buildings and scores of cars were damaged. Storms also rolled across Kansas. A pair of tornadoes hit Wichita. Several homes were destroyed, roofs were ripped from buildings, and large trees were uprooted. 2 people were injured.
President Bush's holiday campaign tour took a swing into Michigan's Upper Peninsula this evening. Earlier in the day, the president was making pitches in Illinois and Kentucky, literally and figuratively. CNN's Jill Doherty explains.
It was one of the few times George Bush as president succeeded in throwing an opening pitch straight into the catcher's mitt. The minor league baseball game, proceeds for Hurricane Andrew's victims, was the kickoff for a second day of Labor Day campaigning. Bush headed next for Chicago and its annual Taste of Polonia celebration, munching on some kielbasa sausage, reminding his Polish-American audience he helped make Poland free, and picked up that theme to attack Bill Clinton's economic plan for increased public spending.
So while we're eating a little kielbasa, he's offering pie in the sky. Who does he think he's kidding?
Bush himself included a smorgasbord of campaign themes in his speech: education reform, crime, legal reform, family values.
And while we're at it, I got a plan for health care.
There was even a swipe at Congress.
Number 38. That's how long the same party, the same crowd has been running the United States House of Representatives. 38 years. Ask Millie, our dog, and she'll tell you that's 266 years in a dog's life.
The overriding theme, that Clinton will tax and spend an already weakened U.S. economy into the ground. The Bush campaign claims its candidate is talking about programs and issues, while Bill Clinton tries to exploit economic hardship by scaring voters already worried about the economy. But the weak economy is precisely what is turning many of these urban ethnic voters, many of whom voted for Bush 4 years ago, away from him this time. The Bush campaign admits it's not where it would like to be in keeping these so-called Reagan Democrats in the Republican fold here in Illinois or in any other battleground states. But campaign officials also say Bush will be returning to the Midwest over and over again in the next crucial 8 weeks. Jill Doherty, CNN, Chicago.
Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton spent part of his day at the races. He's trying to court conservatives that generally vote Republican, but in Darlington, South Carolina, his efforts got mixed reviews. CNN's Deborah Potter has this report.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Revving up the race for the South, Bill Clinton was in Darlington for the Southern 500, but there were scattered boos as he walked down pit row. Even so, what better place to court the conservative blue-collar vote than a stock car track? The Republicans, in fact, have been at it for years. This summer, George Bush won a coveted thumbs up from legendary driver Richard Petty. And this weekend, Dan Quayle was also at Darlington, although it rained on his parade. The folks who come to tracks like this make up a crucial swing vote in the South. Most of the voters here haven't gone for a Democrat since 1976, but the Clinton campaign believes this could be the year the Democrats win them back.
Well, they're going after blue-collar workers, middle-class people who have fairly conservative social values, but also in terms of their economic interests, may feel that President Bush is not doing a good job of handling the economy.
Arriving in South Carolina, Clinton made it clear he's not conceding these voters to the Republicans.
They can't take you for granted anymore because I am not giving up on you. I think South Carolina ought to go for Clinton and Gore.
Clinton has his problems with conservative voters, and South Carolina is generally conceded to be Bush country. But his visit here is designed to appeal to voters across the region. As a fellow Southerner, his message in part is that he's more like them than Bush and Quayle. How does it sell?
He seems like a nice guy, but I'm not going to vote for him. I don't think he can do all that he says he can do.
I'm impressed. I've already decided to vote for him myself because I feel like he's out for change. He cares about the common man.
The Republicans admit the South will be a battleground this year, but they believe they can hold the line. Still, the Clinton campaign expects to spend a lot of time in this area courting the so-called Reagan Democrats, who may hold the key to this election. Deborah Potter, CNN, Darlington, South Carolina.
A lighter look at politics later in the hour when we explain one big thing Bush and Clinton have in common. They both favor the left. Also ahead, an enormous family affair in the streets of New York City.
Imagine a pillowy cushion of softness with every step you take. Dr. Scholl's 2-layer air pillow insoles. 1 layer for shock, 1 for comfort. Dr. Scholl's. You'll feel better when the doctor is in.
Call the doctor, and Dr. Scholl's will send you a single air pillow insole free. Try it in 1 shoe and feel how much better the Dr. Scholl's foot feels. Call now, 1-800-772-FEET. Dr. Scholl's.
Hey, it's a beautiful morning.
Was it the Days Inn wake-up call?
I'm gonna be salesman of the year.
The friendly service?
They'll cheer.
Or the great location?
Maybe they'll even make me regional manager.
One thing's for sure.
It's a beautiful morning.
Days Inn. Isn't it time you wake up to us?
I think I'll go outside and just smile.
Get to Sears Labor Day sale now for great savings on men's and women's apparel. Missy Shaker knit sweaters and Lee jeans are all 25% off. And for men, save 30% on all dress shirts at Sears Labor Day sale.
Willie Mays. Lou Gehrig. Babe Ruth. 3 sports legends now on the legendary box. Wheaties limited edition collector boxes. Get them before they're history.
My daughter said she's too busy to use Old English oil, so
she got me Old English spray. It conditions in practically no time to help prevent drying and cracking.
You're never too busy to give your wood the royal treatment with Old English.
You were here. He has the traveler's checks here. Uh-oh. Well, now there's American Express traveler's checks for 2. The first checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
Italy has scored a victory in the battle against the mafia. Police today arrested one of the country's most wanted fugitives, Giuseppe Madania. Investigators believe Madania is linked to the assassinations of anti-mafia judge Giovanni Falcone in May and another top crime fighter, Paolo Borsellino, in July. Madania is suspected of being in the top echelons of the Sicilian mafia, which would have ordered the killings of the anti-mafia crusaders.
The U.S. Hispanic community is concerned that hard economic times are putting the community's strength, the family unit, under siege. The desire to maintain strong family bonds was evident at a Latino festival in New York today, and here's CNN's Gary Tuckman.
The streets of Manhattan were packed with hundreds of thousands of people celebrating their Latin heritage. The celebrants consisted of mostly families, and that's no big surprise. The family unit has long been one of the strengths of Hispanic culture. It's quite common in Latin families to have grandparents, aunts, uncles, or cousins under the same roof. But some people are worried that these days, Hispanic family units are threatened.
Central to a family is being able to support it, enough resources to keep everyone together, provide for food and adequate shelter. When there is no job opportunity, there is no opportunity to keep that family together.
And there are fears other than the recession.
They face barriers, language barriers, cultural barriers. They feel most of the time alienated from the educational and other social service systems.
Hispanic leaders believe things like few educational choices and high unemployment are seriously threatening the family institution. The Bolivar family moved to the United States from El Salvador 6 years ago. Their lives are very different here. But one message the two daughters receive is the exact same here as it was there.
They taught me that being together is really important in a family, and to talk things out is really good, and to get along and help each other out.
La familia somos bien unidas.
The family is very united, says Beatrice's mother Blanca. We help each other out. It's really wonderful how we work together. Comments like that are music to the ears of community leaders, and one of the reasons so many people were out in the streets of New York celebrating.
For Latin immigrants to the United States, adapting to new customs and values is considered a key to success. But U.S. Hispanic leaders hope those adjustments don't come at the price of the de-emphasis of the family. Gary Tuckman, CNN, New York.
Coming up, it's been a struggle, but relief workers are finally bringing tons of food to Somalia. Is it making a difference? We'll have a report when Prime News continues.
They're tiny portraits of a people. With personalities as varied as our own. They sing of our heroes, echo with our history. They fascinate us with exquisite detail. For some, they're miniature masterpieces. Others just think they're pretty. There are as many reasons to love stamps as there are people who love them. These are stamps worth saving. Ask for the World War II stamps at your post office now.
When you travel a lot, one hotel begins to look like another. But only Hampton Inn guarantees you'll be completely satisfied or your night stay is free. So you always relax in a clean, comfortable room for a good night's rest. Our continental breakfast is on the house and local calls are free. Call today for this free directory or make reservations now at the one hotel you can always rely on. Call 1-800-HAMPTON now.
What will be their strategy in the battleground states? What are they going to say to win over the swing votes? What's it going to take to unlock the door to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Keys to the White House, an election special tonight at 10 on CNN.
Wrapping up their latest mission to Baghdad, UN inspectors say Iraq still refuses to reveal the suppliers of its nuclear weapons program. The UN team leader said progress has been made in setting up a monitoring program to make sure Iraq doesn't try to develop a nuclear bomb, but a major stumbling block remains because Iraq will not say where it purchased its nuclear material overseas.
Relief flights to Mogadishu were temporarily suspended today after a security guard at the airport was shot to death by a local Klansman. Relief workers say they're just beginning to see the extent of Somalia's hunger problem. As CNN's Gary Stryker reports, relief missions never seem to bring enough.
After months of scant attention to this growing crisis, international donors are now sending huge amounts of food relief to Somalia. But there are still areas where donors seem unable or unwilling to deliver enough food. A month ago, a CNN crew filed the first television report from Bardera, a town starving without any food relief. 2 weeks later, UNICEF sent a cargo plane here with the first load of high-protein porridge mix. 5 kitchens now feed 15,000 people 3 times a day. The UN World Food Program has started airlifting grain and cooking oil from neighboring Kenya. Relief workers from CARE have arrived here to make sure the food is delivered to those who need it. But the food draws thousands of famine victims from surrounding areas. The town is becoming a famine camp. Masses of people in squalid conditions without shelter or clean water. And for all these people, there is too little food. The airlift brings only one load of 10 tons a day.
People are dying at the rate of 50 to 60 a day. 10 tons of food is not going to have an impact, I'm afraid. It needs to be increased very quickly.
The real challenge for relief workers here is not just to feed the people in this town, but to get the food to surrounding villages and isolated areas where tens of thousands of starving Somalis are in conditions even worse than this. To achieve that, the team from CARE was led to believe they would have as much as 6 times the amount of food now arriving here.
It started fast, it is slow now. It needs to be fast enough so that we can get food on time for the people here.
The problem seems to be logistics. Not enough aircraft to bring more food to Bardera. The UN now uses 2 cargo planes provided by the German Air Force. But the U.S. airlift operation now has 14 C-130s that could bring the food Bardera needs.
We've heard, and it's not confirmed, that the Americans have decided for the time being not to come into Bardera for whatever reason. We think that they should come in.
But Bardera is now headquarters for Somalia's most powerful faction leader, Mohammed Farah Aidid. U.S. officials say they will not airlift food to areas controlled by the major warlords, a political decision. In a few weeks, coming rains will turn this airstrip into mud. Cargo planes will not be able to land, and lack of security could still make it impossible to bring food to this town by road.
We need food, and we need it now.
Food has arrived here and given the promise of life. But the people of Bardera may still be condemned by politics to starve. Gary Stryker, CNN, Bardera, Somalia.
As if the daily threat of starvation weren't bad enough, Somalians soon may have to contend with toxic waste. A Kenyan newspaper called Sunday Nation quotes a UN official as saying Italian companies are building 2 incinerators in Somalia. They're expected to handle at least 2.5 million tons of shipments of toxic waste next year. There are fears that the toxic dumping could cause more death and aggravate Somalia's threatened ecosystem.
Croat forces in Bosnia-Herzegovina have issued an ultimatum ordering the mostly Muslim Bosnian army to withdraw from 6 suburbs of Sarajevo by Monday. Inside the city, people are struggling to collect clean water. Power to Sarajevo's water system has been cut, exposing the city to possible outbreaks of cholera and hepatitis. Meanwhile, an Italian general says it is likely that a missile brought down the Italian relief plane that crashed in Bosnia Thursday.
Chess master Bobby Fischer suffered his first loss today in his match against Russian-born Boris Spassky. After playing 4 games, the two are now tied 1-1. 2 games have ended in a draw. The series being played in the new Yugoslav Federation is the first competition for Fischer in 20 years. The first player to win 10 games gets $3,350,000 in prize money. The loser gets $1,650,000.
Just ahead on Prime News tonight, why neither Bill Clinton nor George Bush will ever become anyone's right-hand man. Also, how to train your 4-legged athlete to go for the gold by flying through the air. And how some criminals are cultivating a new life and learning how to nurture hope.
Coming up in 30 minutes, incest survivors are breaking the silence here on CNN.
We have been using Purity milk ever since Purity has been in Murfreesboro. Purity is a good product. It's a good whole milk, and it tastes good. Personally, I drink, I guess, a couple of gallons or better a week, and I keep it cold. I keep it at home. I drink it at work. So I'd rather have milk than a Coca-Cola, because milk will quench your thirst better than a Coke will, especially if it's Purity milk.
Folks, the final week of Furniture World Showroom sellout is here. Check out these great buys. Kincaid solid wood rice bed, $3.99. GE extra large capacity washer and dryer, $4.99. Strata Lounge recliners, $4.99. Buy one, get one free. Huge 2-piece sectional with recliners on each end, $7.99. Sofa Love cocktail, 2-end tables and 2 lamps, all those pieces for $9.99. Big 18 cubic foot Prosperity refrigerator with a free ice maker, $4.99. Broyhill bedroom, dresser, mirror, chest, headboard, and nightstand, all those pieces for $7.99. Folks, you better hurry to Furniture World, where we save you money.
This is CNN.
Checking our top stories of the hour, 2 weeks after Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, relief crews continue working 12-hour days. The New York Times is reporting the federal agency coordinating the recovery effort is understaffed and wrapped up in red tape. Almost 90,000 homes are damaged or destroyed. Almost 130 homes still are without electricity. On this Labor Day weekend, a gloomy prediction is coming from the White House. Budget Director Richard Darman saying the unemployment rate may get worse. He said the jobless rate could rise because businesses were damaged by the hurricane and the summer jobs program is ending. George Bush was talking about the economy at a campaign stop. He said if he's re-elected, he'll concentrate on guaranteeing the economic security of the nation. Democrat Bill Clinton ran into a tough audience at a South Carolina stock car race. The Arkansas governor was greeted with some loud booing. Clinton blamed it on Republicans. He said they're angry because Democrats are putting up a fight in the region that is a stronghold for the GOP.
From the way they've been attacking each other, you wouldn't think Bill Clinton and George Bush have anything in common. But they do. They're both members of one of the most forgotten minority groups. CNN's Jamie McIntyre reports.
With all their differences, one thing President Bush and Governor Clinton have in common is a preference for the left hand, that is.
I do.
So whatever the outcome come November, there will still be a southpaw arriving on the South Lawn. And for the estimated 10% of Americans who feel a bit left out, that's no left-handed compliment.
For we lefties, we think it's kind of a courageous field out there. It's, if you represent 10% of the population, it's obviously that you're going to be different than 90% of the population.
Those obvious differences are of little consequence in the day-to-day bustle of campaign appearances, whether making a political pitch or hammering home a point. But on the other hand, researchers are just now discovering ways lefties are unique.
Most frequently cited are musical talent, which might be higher in left-handers, and also mathematical ability, which might be higher in left-handers.
Which might account for Bush's tax appeal.
For the other candidate who raised taxes and fees 128 times.
And Clinton's sax appeal. On a more serious note, President Bush's left-handedness could also be linked to a syndrome whose symptoms include mild dyslexia.
It's conceivable that sometimes when people criticize the president for syntax lapses, particularly when he's tired, that this type of verbal problem, it can be a form of dyslexia.
While left-handed President Gerald Ford was tagged, perhaps undeservedly, with a reputation for clumsiness, statistics do suggest lefties are more accident-prone. But that may be simply a function of trying to do the left thing in a right-handed world.
It does create a problem of terrible handwriting, if nothing else. Three-ring notebooks are just a disaster to left-handers, but beyond that, I think we're going to survive.
But history has cast a shadow over left-handed presidents.
That's an omen for both Clinton and Bush, the three previous Southpaw presidents, Ford, Truman, and Garfield, failing to get re-elected, all left office. Jamie McIntyre, CNN, Washington.
And coming up on Prime News, the NFL season starts. Tom Kirkland will be here with the day's winners and losers. And we'll tell you what it takes to become a top dog. These pups have the right stuff.
I was seeing my parents off, and I realized...
Dad, what do you got in here? Gardening equipment?
They've planned their retirement for a long time.
Common sense says the time to plan for your future is today.
One day, it's going to be our turn.
And Fidelity Investments, America's largest mutual fund company, can help you begin.
Debbie? One day, Jeff sat down to figure out how much we'll have for retirement.
How's it going, Einstein?
Very funny. Take a look at
I thought we were doing a pretty good job. At this rate, we'll never retire.
Over 2 million Americans trust their retirement savings to Fidelity with choices like Magellan Fund. Magellan's approach to stock investing has made it the #1 performing mutual fund for the past 15-year period. So call Fidelity now for this free booklet, A Common Sense Guide to Planning for Retirement. You'll also receive everything you need to take your first step. Call 1-800-854-6100. Fidelity Investments. Common sense. Uncommon results.
Have you tried Folgers Coffee Singles?
One coffee
In its own filter.
Singular sensation, every single cup you brew. It's like brewing a whole pot. One cup at a time. Singular sensation, fresh brewed mornings for you. There's ground roast in here.
In its own filter.
Folgers, singular sensation, just for one.
Folgers Coffee Singles. One sensational way to wake up.
Not long ago, the fellas over at the country club gave Ed Hensel a little party. You see, in over 40 years, Ed never missed a day at the club. Every afternoon, just after 3, like clockwork, there's Ed. A banker by trade, is a master at knowing just how to fill all that leisure time. Unfortunately, banker's hours may not be your hours when buying a car. So finance your new vehicle with GMAC right at your GM dealership. Nobody knows more about auto financing and leasing. And we don't keep banker's hours.
If you could send a message to outer space, what would you say? One software company did ask that question and received more than 1,000 answers. The postcard messages from planet Earth will be beamed spaceward via satellite dish next week. If there are any beings out there to receive them, here's a sample of what they'll be getting. You never call. You never write. Can you hold, please? And we have pictures of your sister. The messages will go out in English, but the organizers say not to worry. They will speak slowly.
Wait and see if we hear back from anybody or anything.
I will not speak slowly. Do you have a seatbelt? Are you strapped in?
No.
You're
Should I
gonna need
be?
to. I'm strapped in. We have an airbag in front of the camera. Hold on. NFL time. Get a load of the work done in Buffalo. Thurman Thomas found the funhouse at career-high 4 times. The Bills romp on the Rams. We have some pictures. James Lofton, congratulated by Magic Johnson. He breaks Steve Largent's NFL career receiving yardage record. But the story, still Thurman Thomas. Over the middle from Jim Kelly, 7-0 Buffalo. The Rams ground Chuck into the ground. Then second quarter, 14-0. Thomas does it on the ground. One of his 3 touchdowns running. 21-0 Buffalo on the way to a 47 blowout. Big problems for the home folks in the House of Pain. The Steelers shocked the Oilers. First win for Bill Cowher. Fourth quarter, 24-22 Houston. Neil O'Donnell finds tight end Adam Cooper, who gives up some hip. 29-24 favor of the Steelers, but the Oilers drive late. Warren Moon throws. Oh, no, he found the wrong guy. Larry Griffin, one of Moon's 5 interceptions. Big shocker. The Oilers go down at home. At the Hoosier Dome, last season's worst collection picked up their first opening day win in 9 years. The Colts over the Browns by 11. At Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, the Chiefs roll on the road. At the Kingdome, Cincy's rookie head coach David Shula wins his first NFL game. Ray Bentley and Fernandez Vinson returned fumbles for touchdowns. The Bengals offense scored only 1 touchdown, but they did the job defensively. No problem with the Seahawks. At Giant Stadium, San Francisco starter Steve Young knocked out, but the Niners roll. This is Steve Bono. He finds Tom Rathman one of his 3 TDs to give the Niners a 17-7 lead. Back come the Giants. They're down 10 at this point, but Phil Simms also finds the wrong man. Oh, no, it's Johnny Johnson on the roll. He rumbles all the way in, 57 yards. The Niners blow out the Giants at Giant Stadium, 31-14. The Bears save for the best for last at Soldier Field, their 9th straight opening season win. Watch Barry Sanders. He's tied up. Forget about it. He's just having fun, just getting rolling. There he is. The light is green. 43 yards for the score, 17-10. In favor of the Lions, but 5 seconds left. The Bears have to score a touchdown to win, so they do. Tom Waddle from Jim Harbaugh, and the Bears come away with a 3-point shocker, stunning the Lions. The Eagles' defense shining once again. The Saints thoroughly silenced. Herschel Walker looks happy. 114 yards rushing and caught a TD pass from Randall. Minnesota's Fuad Revez kicked a 25-yard field goal in overtime to lift Dennis Green to his first win in his coaching debut. Speaking of debuts, say hello to the Falcons' new nest. The Georgia Dome noise made some key problems for the Jets, but Chris Miller early on liked what he saw when he looked at Michael Haynes. 15 yards, 10-0 Atlanta. Second quarter, Miller again. Where's Haynes? There he is. Thank you. 17-0. The Jets came back to make it a game, but they go down by 3. In Tampa, the Cardinals go down, and so does their starting quarterback, Tim Rosenbaugh. Missed all of last season with a knee, blindsided by the blitz today, knocked out again. He could be out for a while. We're not done. Toronto's enjoying some breathing room in baseball's closest race, sweeping their 3rd straight from the Twins while the Orioles finally lost. Beam me to Skydome. Ben Johnson looking on. Twins starter Mike Tremblay took a 3-hit shutout into the 7th. Ed Sprague would be the hero for the Blue Jays. He rips this pitch, a 3-run home run for a 3-2 Jays lead, his first homer of the year for Sprague. They win it 4-2. In Anaheim, newly acquired Craig Lefferts' debut for the Birds does not go well. This snaps the 07-game fun run. The bearded Bert Blyleven wins it for the Angels. For the second straight game, the Braves rally late, and Brian Hunter again scores the winning run, but the Phillies would touch up newly acquired reliever Jeff Reardon, the bearded one, with the tying run there in the 9th, and then the play at third causes an argument. He's called out, but speaking of out calls, check out the work by the ump on Jim Fregosi. He's heard enough. Greg Bonet tells him to tell it walking. Bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, one out. Otis Nixon with the screaming liner that brings home that man again, Brian Hunter. The Braves roll 4-3. Tim Pugh's major league debut was no stinker. 6 strong innings for his first big league win. The Reds stay 6.5 back of the Braves in the West. Fred McGriff hit his National League leading 34th as the Padres win at Wrigley. The LA Dodgers hurt the Pirates, snapping their 7-game winning streak. Eric Karros with a big 2-run double late. Butch Henry pitched and hit his way to a win over the Expos, so Montreal stays 4 behind the Pirates in the East. And we're a solid week into the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Boris Becker featured today, dispatching countryman Carl-Uwe Stieb. This is third set action. It would last 77 minutes. Check out the work of Stieb with the two-handed cross-quarter. Boris goes down, but he would not in the tiebreak. He rallies to take the tiebreak 7-1. Check out the work right here. Covers it nicely, and right there for the backhand volley. That takes us to match point. And Boris, ready here, trying to be bearded, sets up, blasts the ace, his 11th. He wins it 7-6 and 6-3 over the last 2 sets. Also moving on, defending champ Stefan Edberg, Chang, Lendl, and a couple of other guys who have no chance to win the Open. Women's top seed and defending champ wins. That's Monica Seles. And next faces the Capriati killer Patricia He, the native Cambodian. Interesting matchup there. That is it for this update. Before I go searching for an oxygen mask, let me remind you, Sports Tonight has even more for you at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. The news rolls on now here with Natalie.
All right, now to a sport of sorts that's fun for both you and your dog. It's Frisbee. Like most sports, there are dogs who play on the casual level and those who are really pros. CNN's Tom Steiner went to the park and met some of both.
Okay, catch your breath. Concentrate.
Spin, spin, spin. Around.
Because it's time to play.
Catch, drop.
Frisbee professional Peter Blurm, an author and producer of training material, says it's best to introduce the Frisbee to your dog when they're a puppy.
It encourages the dogs to do everything they love to do naturally, run, jump, chase things, and use their mouths. And it's a great cooperative effort between man and dog.
And basically, any dog can become a slick fetch and catcher.
We've got a lot of good mutts that are great dogs, former world champions that were mutts, and of course purebred, so it's not just a purebred type sport.
If you thought teaching your dog to roll over was tough, show dogs go through rigorous training. Because most are not naturally gifted, it takes a lot of time, patience, and love to transform them into canine athletes.
That is the only way. They react, mostly Border Collies react, and they thrive on affection and praise. They want to please you.
A showcase for trained dogs is competitions. Each year, thousands of canines show off their skills in local, regional, and world meets. Michael Jordan's not the only athlete born to fly. Some Frisbee dogs have cornered the market on the art of skywalking.
I think Frisbee for dogs is the greatest thing since cats. Good boy.
And in some cases, training and preparing to be top dog can keep more money in your pocket.
It saves money on health clubs, no question.
Tom Steiner, CNN Weekend.
The tooth marks on the Frisbees make for better traction. Time for a check on the weather now. Ted Texter has a look at the forecast for the rest of this holiday weekend.
David, we still have a little bit left, and I hope you can get some sunshine in, maybe a picnic tomorrow. Look out on the East Coast. Look at all the rain now. The radar returns. This perhaps overstates it a little bit, but it gives you a general idea of where the rain really will be. East Coast down through most of the South and Eastern United States, down across Florida, unfortunately, but not as much rain in South Florida. And yet another line now moving across the Midwestern United States, another one further north and west of there, upper Midwest in northeastern South Dakota. Word of severe weather tonight, possibly a tornado touching catching down there, and also quite a bit of hail, and you can see the very bright returns now on the radar scopes. Lots of sunshine in between has been seen through the day with the clear sky. Also some showers now popping up across Texas, south and western United States, mainly dry northwest. Big sky country, seeing a little bit of blue sky, but some rain as well. Here's the forecast weather map right on through the day tomorrow. Lots of rain, spotty at least across the country. We've got some clear spots, but they're a little bit harder to find. Down in southern Florida, it should be fairly clear. Mid-Atlantic states, north and east, rain showers still moving in the area there. It has been heavy, as you may know, in parts of the mid-Atlantic states through this day, and maybe some flooding problems there yet tonight. Scattered showers back further westward as well. Yet another front now with a couple of waves on it is moving across this part of the country, making this rain. North and western United States, mainly high pressure and dry tomorrow, but the prospects of some more showers over the next couple of days. When we come back, we're going to talk about temperatures and more of the beginning work week forecast, so stay right there. We'll be right back.
Just when I need someone to love me, just when I think the world's too cold, there you are, right there beside me. There you are in my heart, standing by me once again. There
Sheba, because you cherish your cat.
So you just got a cash advance, did you? Too bad you used an ordinary credit card. Because you could be carrying some very heavy interest charges. Why not carry the Discover card? Just pay your full monthly balance and a small transaction fee, and we'll forget the interest. Which means our money comes with no strings attached. It pays to Discover.
Know what's wrong with the world today?
No one cares about doing a good
No
job
one cares
anymore.
about doing a good job anymore.
Napkin?
Thanks. Quick fix, slap it together.
Refill?
Thanks. Courtesy, efficiency, punctuality. Is that too much to ask? Nah.
Hot food and fast, friendly service guaranteed. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Finish, Mr. Martin? Thanks.
You're welcome.
Show me a place like that, and I'd give them all my business. Why, I'd never leave.
I remember her tickling me around my thighs.
You're taught that you must not tell.
Nearly 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 7 boys fall victim to incest. Don't miss an encore presentation of Breaking the Silence tonight.
It snowed last night in northwestern Montana. It will likely be a little bit cooler there through the day tomorrow as well. High temperature expectations. Now, remember, a front crossing just about here. North of it, cooler, drier air. In fact, in northern Minnesota, only in the 50s for afternoon highs tomorrow. It's still summertime, but it's just about over. Southern tier of the nation at the same time enjoying more summer-like weather, and then the south and in the west, not real hot, but you'll still have some century mark readings, at least in spots there. Into Monday evening we go, and we can see the storms moving very slowly to the east. Bigger rains now through most of Michigan, back further westward through the Great Lakes region, northern, western parts. The trail of showers continues further south and eastward. A clear night tonight in Kansas and Missouri, but tomorrow night into Tuesday, probably a little bit different story, and the storm just kind of seems stuck on the coast. Into Tuesday morning we go to get you started on your work week, and you can see everything pushes a little bit further south and east. High pressure replacing clouds and rain, and that means some sunshine for Tuesday, at least through the Dakotas and the midwestern United States. Still raining in the Great Lakes region. North and the east, the rain showers continue right on down the coast too. Now, these forecasts for cities around the nation. I hope that's helped you in planning your picnic for tomorrow. Now here's David in Washington.
A huge forest fire continues to rage out of control near Athens, Greece. Planes have been brought in to help some 1,200 soldiers battle the blaze. More than 5,000 acres of pine forest have already burned, and as the fire moves closer to the capital, the government has declared a state of emergency. At least a dozen homes have been destroyed, and several villages are now threatened.
Cooler temperatures and showers are helping firefighters gain the upper hand in Idaho. That's where forest fires have scorched about 15,000 acres since Wednesday. The break in the weather has fire crews predicting they'll get the fires contained by tomorrow. So far this summer, fires have destroyed 600,000 acres of forest and rangeland in Idaho.
700 scientists from around the world are taking part in a conference on the development of a vaccine for AIDS. There are some promising leads, but as CNN medical correspondent Jeff Levine reports in News from Medicine, an effective vaccine is probably years away.
In a limited way, human testing of AIDS vaccines has already begun.
Okay, take a look at the mail.
Lester Stein is one of 100 volunteers enrolled in tests of different varieties of AIDS vaccines at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. Stein, who does not have the virus, is getting a series of 3 injections of GP160, a vaccine made from a protein on the surface of the AIDS virus. A small sacrifice, he says, considering the potential gain.
Not so much for the friends that I've lost, but to keep people in the future from getting sick. That's how I more or less look at it, that if this could just save one more person, it's worth an injection, you know.
Polio vaccine pioneer Dr. Jonas Salk is now at work on an AIDS vaccine. He says he's not afraid to try the vaccine on himself.
The word fear doesn't belong. I would never do anything if I was fearful. I would do things because I have confidence and, if you like, the courage of my convictions.
Salk's approach is to use the whole AIDS virus, which has been killed or inactivated by radiation. Some scientists believe a vaccine made from the whole virus would offer the most protection against AIDS, but might not be as safe as just using a piece of the AIDS virus.
Those are little T cells running by a laser.
Another key question, will a successful vaccine use the traditional approach of sparking new antibodies, or will it tweak up another part of the immune system?
Stimulating the body's natural immune cells to kill the HIV-infected cells is the most promising and ultimately successful approach.
As researchers see it now, AIDS vaccines would serve 2 functions. First, as a treatment to boost the immune systems of those already infected. Preliminary studies already confirm that effect. Doctors hope that eventually vaccines may be able to prevent the lethal infection. There is a growing feeling that it's better to get an imperfect vaccine on the market as soon as possible rather than wait for the better mousetrap.
The time is right to go into some large-scale clinical trials to try and assess efficacy of a vaccine in a prophylactic setting.
Still, because of the complexity and the controversy, it may be 2 years at least before a vaccine to treat AIDS is ready. And a vaccine to prevent AIDS may be delayed till the year 2000. Jeff Levine, CNN Medical News, Washington.
News from Medicine is brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb Company, makers of Excedrin PM, headache medicine, and it helps you sleep.
A night for Excedrin PM.
This day won't go away.
My allowance.
Your vacation? Canceled.
The check bounced.
I can't sleep and my head aches.
You want Excedrin PM, strong aspirin-free headache medicine you can feel good about, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep.
Mother is staying indefinitely.
Make a bad day go away with Excedrin PM, and rest assured it's aspirin-free.
On CNN tomorrow, are unions working against labor? Strike tactics on Cryer and Company. Then on NewsHour, Lithuania, how this Baltic state is thriving in a tattered empire. All tomorrow on CNN.
We were loading up at the lake, and I hooked my Coleman cooler on the trailer hitch to help drain the water. But I forgot to unhook it. We dragged that thing 20 miles, but it held on all the way, and everything was still inside.
Coleman coolers are unbelievably tough, and now this bonus pack is priced at around $20.
I don't know what the speed limit was along there, but I'm sure glad nobody clocked that cooler.
Of all the things around your house that need batteries, there's one thing that needs a good, fresh battery most of all. See your Allstate agent for a free home fire safety brochure. And please, check the battery in your smoke detector often.
Officials in San Francisco may have found a way to stem crime. They've set up 2 programs that give inmates and ex-cons some food for thought. Linda Joyce explains.
You need to get all this food in.
Pounds of potatoes grown by inmates to feed the homeless.
part of a horticulture project inside a San Francisco jail designed to nurture vegetables and the soul.
We're doing something healthy with our life. You know, we're trying to make a change.
200 inmates, about 1/3 of the jail population, sign up for the project. On 12 acres, these inmates learn the fundamentals of gardening. Some do it just to be outside, away from the lockup of the main jail.
When you get locked up there, it's terrible, you know. It's more freedom out here. You have, you know, better time.
Program organizers say these inmates learn horticulture, but they also learn about working together.
When you first come out here, your first week or two is like the hardest 2 weeks. You be like, oh, no, I can't deal with it. I ain't never had to deal with it. I had to try to be positive and be respectful to other people so much. And then, but when you see people, it's like when you get mad and people come there and say, you know, you don't have to get mad, you know, hey, you're still my friend.
2 years ago, the owner of a prominent San Francisco bakery toured the jail in the garden, and he thought to himself, he had a plot of land outside one of his businesses that was used as a garbage heap. What about turning that land into a garden for the inmates when they get out of jail? A halfway house without the house. About 20 people work this land daily, producing fruits and vegetables for Just Desserts and Tassajara Bakery.
I said I would pay you market prices, and therefore we'd create a couple of jobs. You know, we're not going to create 100 jobs, but maybe we could create 2 jobs, which would then be a model for what could be done anywhere there's a piece of dirt.
The money's not much, but the support and camaraderie is. Foundations and businesses donate cash, and the produce turns a small profit. The program founder calls this garden alternative crime prevention.
When they are here in this garden, that means they're not out robbing people. They're not out selling drugs. They're here, they're working.
Former inmate and drug addict Suzanne Mendoza considers this place her therapy.
I got into the program in the jail. I learned how to deal with my life, sort of like the garden, you know. You take out the bad with the weeds, and you're the good, and you grow.
Lettuce, chives, and spices, organically grown by people learning as much about themselves as the greens. Some say these vegetables are the visible part, and the part you can't see is called hope. Linda Joyce for CNN, San Francisco.
Thanks for joining us. From Washington, I'm David French.
And in Atlanta, I'm Natalie Allen. Just ahead on CNN Weekend, a special on the sensitive topic of incest, breaking the silence at 9 p.m. Eastern. After that, at 10 p.m. Eastern, an election year special, Keys to the White House.
Coming up next, the victims of incest are breaking the silence here on CNN.
September is the perfect time to try pay-per-view. Find out how easy it is to bring Hollywood's hottest stars into your home. Don't wait another day to discover how easy it is to reach for the stars. Order a pay-per-view movie tonight.
Julio Cesar Chavez has won 80 fights and 4 championships. He's never lost. Most people think he's the best fighter in the world. Hector Macho Camacho disagrees. On Saturday, September 12th, we'll find out just who is Mas Macho. Chavez versus Camacho, WBC Championship, September 12th, live on pay-per-view TV.
Viewer's Choice is your ringside seat for Chavez versus Camacho, live September 12th.
If